So welcome to part 3. I've got Jamie here, professional video producer, YouTube certified professional, a freelancing storyboarder as well, something I forgot to say in the introduction, ex-agency owner himself who used to do the one-day website, web design agency, and also a film video production agency as well. So I'm very excited to have him here, and we're going to get straight into part 3 now, which is all about promotion. So this is about how to use your authority video content to actually move the dial and, you know, appear on the search that people are looking for. So
absolutely.
The first thing I wanted to ask you, Jamie, was obviously we need to put the content out there. Let's be clear. It has to be posted somewhere. It's no good just doing it and leaving on your phone. It has to go somewhere. Now, for most people, that somewhere is usually YouTube, I think, or Instagram. That's the two most common, I think. And then some people post on Facebook as well. Can you talk us a little bit about maybe the posting consistency and, you know, what effect that may have on, you know, on how well that content engages the audience?
Yeah, sure. I think if you're creating a whole catalogue of videos which answer the question, so we're not talking about expert positioning in terms of thought leadership necessarily. We're talking about just answering the questions that your audience has. So I think if you're putting together, you know, if you came up with 50 questions, 50 most commonly asked questions, and you recorded yourself talking about them, you know, it probably would be a good idea to release all of those videos at once, because what you don't want to do is delay the process of the possibility of you being found online by waiting a week. Yeah, you know, if you've got if you've got 52 videos and you're posting one a week, you're not going to post that last question until a year after you've started. And I think maybe that's not ideal in that situation. But if you're looking at doing, if you're not looking at doing kind of Q&A based videos, but you're looking at doing more expert positioning thought leadership pieces, so your opinions and thoughts on a daily or weekly basis, then I would say, you know, that the beginner could post, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times a month to, you know, their YouTube channel, or, you know, like you say, Instagram or Facebook or somewhere like that. The intermediate would probably go for 1 to 2 times a week, and the hardcore would really be looking at posting daily, you know, 4 or 5 times a week, I think, really, realistically. Obviously, that's a lot of content, and that's going to take up a lot of your time and resource. But there are many people that have kind of started on that journey, and then they've shifted over to being almost a online video star.
It is
their industry by doing content every day.
Well, it creates. I have to agree with that one, because it's not that I'm not at that stage yet. I'm not like a content maniac yet. However, I'm moving towards that. It seems that as you put content out, more content floods into your mind. And it's a little bit like any creative process, I suppose. That if somebody, you know, is a painter and they make a painting, the minute they've made that painting, another 1 or 2 paintings bubble up, you know, in his consciousness, and ideas come to the forefront. And I think when you get into the habit, then making video becomes very. You get over the fear factor of making a video, what they're going to think. It's just like, okay, I've got a content idea, let's just do it, and you just get into execution mode straight away.
Absolutely. And execution can be in the form of pre-recorded content, which is then polished and put out, or it could be live. You could just go live from your YouTube channel or Facebook, from your phone, and you can be talking, you can be interacting with your audience straight away, you know, immediately. You know, for the chiropractic industry, I'd probably say having pre-recorded content, because of the legislation and regulation thing, I would say at least you've got an opportunity to review it, to make sure. But as you get better and then you'd get more confident to be able to, you know, kind of have these live opinions and live debates and thoughts on camera.
Yeah, and I mean, yes, what we were saying earlier, is better done than perfect. Look, you're going to say stuff, and it's not all going to come out exactly the way you want it to, and that's going to happen. Because you got so much knowledge behind that you're going to say something, then you're going to have to analyze what you really meant, because you really did mean something, but you have to analyze your own thoughts sometimes, because you got a fast pace. Yeah. So that's
I'm really good at that. I can talk about this all day long, all day, every day, to anybody that will listen, and they'll ask me a question, and then 10 minutes later go, oh yeah, actually, to go back to your original point, because we've gone off on 4 different tangents, but that's because I love it, and having someone like you here to guide the discussion is very helpful. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's good, and that means you know a lot about your subject. You know, you've got a lot to say about it, and so there's a ton of content inside of you. You know, just bursting at the seams to come out. Yeah. So, in terms of talk us a little bit through this process of taking content that we've already created, and then maybe recycling, upcycling, repurposing. How can we, give us a little bit of an overview of how we should think about content in this way, and value the content that we've already produced, and how we can reuse it. Give us some examples, practical examples, how we can do that.
Yeah, sure. So there's a term in marketing, which some people may or may not know, called evergreen. Yeah. And evergreen content is content that's produced that you can use regularly and repeatedly, and it doesn't have an expiration date. So it's not tied to any particular day or event or anything that can date it in any way. So that's called evergreen content. I think really, when you're producing pre-recorded content from a thought leadership point of view, you're wanting to be trying to create content that is evergreen. Because evergreen content means repeat value. Yeah. You can repost it, you can reshare it a year down the line, and it's still relevant. Now, I understand that in a regulation-driven industry, regulations change, and that's fine, because if you've done a video on Regulation 4, and a year later Regulation 4 changes, perfect, new video opportunity.
Okay, yeah.
So regulation changes can spark new content.
Of course.
So that's not
new discoveries
to be afraid of.
You could say, okay, I said this because the leading thought about this topic at the time was, A, B, C. Yes. But now this has changed because there's been new research that's come forth that now shows us that there is a different angle to this. I'm just going to do this now, and you can actually do an update there. So it shows you, still shows you an expert, because you're keeping up to date with recent developments. And
it does, and although that is creating new content, you are springboarding off the content that you already have. So although you're not recycling that particular video, you're doing an update about that particular regulation. At least you're able to share that first video. Let's have a look at what happened in 2019. Well, actually, now in 2020, this is what's happening. You've got an opportunity there to kind of capture two audiences. So I think from that point of view, recycling your content, and even the Q&A idea, if you're going to get on camera and answer your most frequently asked questions about your particular niche in the industry, those are evergreen bits of content. Unless something changes in the way that changes in the industry or the regulation or anything like that, then those are evergreen. I think when you're using things like Facebook Live and Instagram Live and those sorts of things, that can be stuff that is about the event or something that's happening now, because that keeps you current. So it's not just about pulling all this information from your head that is related to your industry. It's also about, well, how does what's going on in the world now affect my industry? Yeah. And that's a really good opportunity to get on the live broadcast, and you can still do pre-recorded content if you're putting it out within the same day or within a couple of days. Yeah. So we've got, obviously, at the moment, everything that's going on at the moment, there are lots and lots of people getting out their phones, talking on camera about what it's like to be at home during COVID-19 outbreak.
Oh yeah,
that is timely. That is happening now, and that is.
It's the thought of the day.
I've instantly just not made this. Yeah, it's thought of the day, and actually that has a lot of value as well, because you're connecting with your audience live now within a day, and they're sharing some similar thoughts to you. So there's two there. You've got the pre-recorded evergreen, which will last pretty much indefinitely, and then you've also got this fresh live content which can be put out daily, weekly, as long as it's relevant to what's happening at the time.
And this is a good point you're making there. So I think in times of crisis and difficulties, it is important to step forward and take on a leadership role and be, encouraging, motivating, inspiring. and rather than just sitting back on the sidelines and just see, well, let's just see what's happened, you know. So it's good to be at the forefront there and show you're proactive, you care about your clients in this case, obviously, and just putting content out there. Maybe, you know, if people are at home, you know, can you give them exercises, stretches, things to do at home that can help them make the most of the situation they're currently in.
Yes.
But when the situation passes, they will have you in the forefront of their mind, top of the mind awareness, because you've been engaging them. You've been posting good content, keeping them motivated, engaged, holding them to some sort of healthy routine. So that's really positive.
Yep.
Thinking about video editing. Now, obviously, with a lot of authority videos, there's not a lot of editing that needs to go on, because you can put a little intro if you like, if you have create a little bit intro animation, or and maybe something at the end with your details, like a little outro and your details, and maybe lower third, if you like, where your name comes up with your title. If you want to go, you know, to that level, that would be nice. You know, it's not a must, but it would be nice if you did that. Is there other ways that you can, in terms of the video edits, is there, have you got some thoughts and practical ideas on how some of the content already produced, you know, we might be able to repurpose to maybe enhance the visual aspect of, you know, the aesthetics of the video, make it a bit more engaging as well, because people do want to, okay, we don't have to do a Hollywood production, but they do want something that's a little bit engaging sometimes. And people
of course.
What are
good question. That's a really good question, and I think first and foremost, the engagement piece comes from the delivery of the content. So for people to be engaged, it needs to be a clear message, well delivered, looking straight to camera, unless it's an interview style, you know, video. But I think when it comes to the quality, like that is almost, the quality of the video is almost secondary to the message and the content. Like you can film your own stuff on your phone. You can get video editing apps where you could, you know, put in your video, add a little logo at the beginning, add a logo at the end, and then you could publish that to YouTube and Vimeo. A lot of people, though, as they get more serious with it and they start to see the benefits of using video, you know, will work with maybe not somebody like myself. You know, I'm a fully fledged video producer, so I work with clients on a fully end-to-end spectrum, from development, script, storyboards, through to filming, production, and delivery and beyond. But there are some people out there that will assist you in terms of video editing. So, you know, there might be some junior editors out there who you can put on, you know, a retainer each month who will edit all of your content for you and make it engaging and add a nice little flashy intro. And so that's kind of, you know, that's the difference between two gears, if you like. But to just get going, if you've got a practice logo, or if you don't have a particular logo and you've just got your name, you know, you can just fade from black and go straight into the video. People, when they're watching this content, don't have time to hang about. So you need to get to the point pretty quick. If you're gonna, if you're gonna keep them there, you need to get, only when you're established and do people know your name and know the sorts of content that you produce, can you be a little bit more risky with adding a 10-second animated intro to the beginning and adding in all sorts of stuff. You know, I think if you can just get into the content straight away, it's going to be better for you in, you know, long term.
Yeah, so to put that in perspective, what we're saying is you kind of got the trusted advisor, is, if you like, level 1. Level 2 is the expert authority, and level 3 is the celebrity, you know. So what Jamie's saying there is pretty much that's at the celebrity level, where you've got this maybe intro of you know, doing seminars, or, you know, walking in and out of places and, you know, high-fiving people, maybe adjusting people. So
what I would say, actually, Giorgio, you just mentioned then about you know, the celebrity status and going to events, talking. Actually, I kind of missed that before. But one way of this kind of authority marketing, and particularly with video content, is speaking at events. That is a huge thing. If you can, if you can get onto an event and talk about, even if it's only a 5-10 minute slot, and invest in getting it filmed with the permission of the event organisers, but get that filmed, that content is going to give you that little clip of you speaking for 10 minutes is going to give you enough video content, because you can pull 30-second clips out of that video, publish it on social media, and start to promote yourself as that go-to expert. You know, that getting yourself filmed at an event as a speaker is a huge thought leadership piece that a lot of people can, you know, maybe could do straight away, if they can just see what events are on, apply for themselves to get on stage and speak. Even local business events is a great way of
I was
doing
going to
that.
say, it doesn't have to be the huge, like a Tony Robbins arena of 10,000 people.
No.
It could be, a little, maybe you're doing a little workshop in a nearby cafe or in a library, or you're talking in a corporate event to a group of people. And if you can have that filmed, you can create a little reel there of
absolutely
animated sequences of you going in and out, and it will definitely help to elevate and position you. So really, anything you do in terms of content creation or presentation, you should really film it in some way, shape, or form, right?
Yes. Yeah, even if it's a colleague with their phone at the back of the room, just getting what they can. Like, excuse me, I think that is a no-brainer. Any opportunity where you're getting to speak to people, or you're holding a workshop that is primarily to do with your niche and your position as an expert, you're going to want some proof of that, even if it's photographs. I would say I would always advocate video, because people can see you, deliver, and hear you. But even photographic proof that you did it can help your perception, or help the perception of your audience and people that you work with. Will go, okay, well, this guy obviously, not only does he know what he's talking about, but he is getting booked for events, and people are seeing him speak, and obviously people think there's some value in that, and that can really help your credibility for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, and I think also from a personal branding perspective, which obviously goes a little bit hand in hand with authority marketing, you got to think about your personal brand as well. Even if you go to an event, so even if you go to an event that you're not presenting, but say you go to a big event at the NEC or one of the other in Excel, and it's all about chiropractors coming together, or maybe it's a wellness event, and you were there hanging around with your crew, or with members of your team or other chiropractors, just capturing that moment as well, just showing that you're part of that industry, your colleagues, and it creates that aura of expertise and trust, and obviously somebody who really loves the industry they're in. So that's important as well. It's not always about necessarily directly presenting something. There is content that's valuable as well, that infers authority because you show the things that you're involved with, directly.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I've been fortunate enough a couple of times to follow people around at an event that they're very well known in their industry for, and I will follow them around with a video camera, capturing those meets and greets, capturing them autograph signing or talking to people or doing what they do that is not specifically what they do, but it's that surrounding element that puts them in that persona of celebrity that you were just referring to. And that there's a few guys that I follow on LinkedIn who are kind of inspirational coaches, motivational coaches, that sort of thing. And they, a couple of them have a full-time video guy that just follows them around the country.
Wow.
And then they're releasing like a daily or weekly blog about what it is that they do, and they're getting visible and they're getting results because they're using video.
Amazing. Yeah.
To show the world what they do rather than just typing. Yeah, it's cool, man. It's cool.
And it becomes very sort of documentary and cinematographic in a way, isn't it? The quality becomes.
You get into you're absolutely right, mate. Yeah, that's
like
when you're looking at.
It's literally like
it is.
It's that level, isn't it? Yeah.
That's right.
So this is again where the lines have blurred, isn't it? Where before we have people, you go to TV and you got all your programs. Now people say, no, I want to watch what I want to watch, and they go onto social. And now with the advent of video becoming even stronger, well, the statistics said potentially 80% of all content will be video. Obviously, a huge opportunity to
huge
branch out, to connect with your audience, to do all kinds of things.
Yeah, and you've got to think about the next generation of people coming through. Like my kids watch a lot of YouTube, and they're very familiar with it. They're very familiar with their favorite YouTubers. They know when they're going to post. They know what's going to be happening next, and you have to think about that. You have to think about that next generation of people that are going to come through in your industry.
Yeah.
What have they going to be privy to? What have they seen, and how have they been? What content have they been brought up on? You know what I mean? And I think it's their consumption of video content, in that age range is huge. It's massive. It's huge. But in 10 years' time, they're the ones going to be in an industry at the top of their game potentially. Yeah. So are they going to be using video? Are they going to be more comfortable with using video? Probably. So there's no evidence of video ever slowing down.
when we're talking about authority video content creation, that you think we should look out for, like maybe some no-nos, you know, or maybe some things that we, you know, some things that we want to include. So any specific, have you got any specifics? We said, well, actually, you know, just be mindful of this type of thing.
I think if we're looking at the back to basics, if I concentrate on what people could do right now, to start creating video content in their niche and start positioning themselves as an expert, these are more kind of best practice things, I think. But one big one is lighting. So we want to make sure your video is going to be the best quality. So what you should look out for is make sure that when you're filming yourself, or if somebody is filming you, that you are always facing a window. Okay. Really seems a really obvious one, because you think, well, yeah, I want to be well lit, but in the moment, the amount of videos I've seen where the window is behind the subject and they're in silhouette, instant turn off. You know, so instant turn off. So a massive no-no is to never film unless you've got professionals which are lighting you, and they can do all of that stuff for you. If you're doing it yourself, then absolutely make sure that the window or the light source that you're filming is always on you. It sounds really obvious, but it's amazing how much it's amazing how much that doesn't happen.
Okay, and I think the other one then is just making sure that the sound is good enough at the very least, because obviously if you're doing an outdoors one, you probably want to use an external microphone, whether that be your iPhone one or maybe the lapel one, just to make sure that, you know, because obviously the sound is going to be second to the quality of the video. And video generally is going to be quite good with modern day smartphone. Even at the base level, I mean, most videos, they're high definition and the minimum, you know, it's like the entry level almost.
Well, it's interesting you say that it's second to the quality, but actually when you look at kind of feedback and stats of people that watch good video quality but with bad audio, audio actually is really, I would argue, is above video. People can forgive. For some reason, it must be some sort of neurological thing, but you know, some people generally can accept a poorish quality video. But what they want when they're watching these kind of authority marketing videos, or when they're watching, you know, something online, they're going to want a fairly clean, crisp audio feed. And if people are recording content that looks great, but they're filming it with the microphone from their camera and they're really far away, that is actually going to turn them off. It doesn't really matter. We seem to be tuned to pick out bad audio and switch ourselves off from it. So actually, I'd probably say, you know, making sure that the audio sounds good, and you can film, and you can film yourself talking to your phone camera, and the sound quality can be good enough if you're close enough to your phone and you're in a quiet area. You know, if you don't have a mic and you don't have a lapel mic and you don't have a headset or earphones with a mic, your phone camera will be fine if you're in a quiet environment and not in a really echoey, massive. I mean, it's a whole other video there, whole other topic to talk about there. But you know, somewhere quiet and fairly closed off is good. Okay.
Yeah, make sure you maybe shut the windows if you have double glazing, so you cut the traffic out.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a very, very good point. You're right, absolutely right. Of course, if there's no audio, then no matter how good the quality is people are going to tune out straight away. So audio, very hard to fix audio in post, isn't it? You got to edit bad audio. It's almost like you can get it marginally better, but there's not that much you can do. Huh? It's not like
that's right.
You know, not like the red line effect. It's not the same with audio.
No. And what you're looking for is for it to be clear, and clean. So if there's if the quality isn't like professional quality, that's fine. But as long as there's not loads and loads of background noise or loads of like interruptions and like an aircon humming or cars going by in the background, like if you can eliminate those things, then most of the time you'll be fine to film. Yeah. People just, you know, and obviously a lot of it comes from projecting yourself as well. So speaking loudly, speaking clearly, articulating yourself properly is also a big part of it.
Yeah. Don't have chewing gum in your mouth if you're going to do a authority.
No,
it's just not good practice. You know, it's gonna...
You're right in terms of that expert positioning, which is what we're always coming back to, aren't we? It's this authority, positioning yourself as an authority. That's what we're always coming back to. I think doing courses, tutorials that aren't just the videos that aren't just about your opinions and thoughts. You are instructing and educating. I think is really, it's like you've got kind of different lanes of the motorway, and I think if you can have a different element of video content on each lane of the motorway, then you're really using video really well. Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, and again, going back to your tip earlier, is that just because you're creating a course, say an exercise course, it doesn't mean that you have to be the expert on that. Go and hire a local PT who is an expert and make an agreement with him and record his exercise. Yeah. Just tell him what you want and get him to prepare all the content, because he's a certified PT. He knows more about functional exercise than you do, you know. If he's good at what he does, obviously, you know.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. That would help.
Yeah, make sure you do qualify them. Obviously, hire the right person.